Case dismissed. Even better than a not guilty verdict, a judge has decided there's not enough evidence to even send this to trial. There's no evidence of crimes. None of this makes sense. They printed an indictment with thousands of pieces of paper, which doesn't mean anything. It doesn't add up to a crime. They falsified evidence. The whole thing is garbage. The case is now officially dismissed. But if there's no evidence to take me to trial, this begs a very pertinent question. There was never any evidence to put me in jail. There was never any evidence to raid my house 5 times. There was never any evidence to keep me travel banned for 3 years. There was never any evidence to stop me seeing my children. There was never any evidence to stop me seeing my mother when she had a heart attack. There was never any evidence to steal all of my cars and all of my money and all of my wealth. There was never any evidence for the media, which were very complicit, to try their very best to slander me, to bother my mother after she had an operation, trying to make her cry, to make my children sad, to make the women around me sad. This is not just about my brother and I. We're tough guys. Every single person who loves us has suffered, and there's never been any evidence in the first place, like we've been telling you for 3 solid years. We've been telling you this for 3 solid years. This is a bittersweet day. I'm happy because finally an honest judge did the right thing and threw this case out. I am happy because I got to enjoy this perilous path with the person I love the most on the planet, which is my brother Tristan Tate. He is the best brother on the planet. And when we shook hands, irregardless of the circumstance, even when we were sitting in a jail cell together, we only laughed and smiled. We are ready to die together. We have been since the moment we were born. And there is no better feeling on earth than knowing you have a brother who's ready to die beside you. We are the type of men who will charge at the gunfire after a quick nod of heads. We don't care. We were ready for 20 years in Rehovot. We knew this was a setup. We knew this was a Matrix attack. We didn't expect justice at any point during this, but we fought tooth and nail. My legal team and everyone around me said, Andrew, just be quiet. If you're quiet, you can make it go away. Don't make a big noise about it. Maybe we can do a deal behind the shadows. And I said, no. My father did not raise me to have the Tate name tarnished by liars and corrupt actors. I will fight tooth and nail from the absolute day I was first accused until the last day they throw me in jail, and from there, I will continue to fight. I'm an innocent man. I've done nothing wrong. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm not going to do a deal. I'm not going to lay down. I'm going to fight this absolutely tooth and nail. And everybody told me, you can't beat the system. If you make too big a deal of this, you are going to go to jail. And I said, I will go to jail for 20 years happily if everybody knows I am innocent. If everybody knows I've done nothing wrong, I'll suffer in jail. But I will not let people lie and slander the last name Tate when we've done nothing wrong. There is no such thing as light without dark. The light that radiates from the beautiful brotherhood I share with Tristan must be balanced. And the balance to that dark are nightmares, which I've suffered ever since I was put inside of that jail cell. I still wake up at night looking for cockroaches inside of my blankets. I still smell that jail. I didn't go to jail in England. I didn't go to jail in fucking America. I went to jail in Romania. I was thrown in an Eastern European prison. Do you have any idea the conditions in an Eastern European jail? And there was never any evidence for me to be there in the fucking first place. I think God is giving me these nightmares to ensure that my wounds stay fresh. Because it would be very easy for me now that the first case has been thrown out. The second case will follow quickly. Within a few weeks, we'll be back on private jets, back on our Bugattis, back on yachts, living a good life. We could just ignore all this, live and let live, make it all go away. No big deal, we were found innocent. But I still can't sleep. So why would God still be keeping me awake at night unless he wanted my wounds to still hurt? Justice is when liars. Justice is when corrupt actors. Justice is when complicit media outlets. Justice is when people who have tried their very best to put an innocent man in jail purely because they don't like what he says. Not because he's guilty, because they don't like what he says. They had no interest in the truth. They just wanted me to be guilty because they didn't like me. Justice is when they feel the full weight of the law. I have 35 more years to live. I have unlimited resource. I can't sleep. I'm petty. And I can ensure that everybody who has ever said my name in a negative light regrets the day they were chasing the attention and chasing the likes on Twitter, because it's not going to be worth it. I have done nothing wrong. Hundreds of millions of dollars of compensation are going to flow my way. And it's not about the money. It's about making people understand that just because you do not like somebody, just because you do not like the words they say, just because they said some stupid things on the internet 10 years ago, just because they offend you with their jokes, does not mean they should be locked up innocently. All people, including my enemies, deserve a fair trial and deserve freedom if they are innocent. But my enemies are not innocent. And my enemies are never going to apologize. Never going to apologize to my mother. Never going to apologize to my children. Never going to apologize to the people around me who have suffered even more than my brother and I. But they will pay. Because as I said after my first cancellation, it was a fair warning because I am a fair man. I do not hit people without telling them I will hit them first. My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with sheer indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. The counterattack has been long planned. It's quite interesting how much time you have to think and be creative inside of a Romanian dungeon. And now, finally, as the dominoes start to fall, as the house of cards of lies is collapsing in real time, the counterattack comes closer and closer to fruition. My brother and I have always been innocent. We were attacked because of our monumental fame and the work we were doing at the time to break the Matrix. The reason Trump is in office, the reason everyone's now based in telling the truth, the reason the masculine youth are rejecting the programming, the reason all of these things are happening was by no small part down to my brother and I personally. It's not just us, but we were part of the entire culture war. They tried to get rid of us. They tried to make us suffer. And I promise you, now that the war has been won, and now that my final paperwork is being stamped before I am released, the people who have done this, who have tried to make us suffer injustice purely because we were trying to do the right thing, are going to pay the price.